Every time you talk to me, Danielle, I wish I had better news, but it gets worse. It just gets worse.
A- And on that note, I don't know how many times I've interviewed you now, countless over, the span of 10 years. And I don't think I've ever seen you so concerned, so vocal. I've been reading it and all your latest tweets. Will Smith slaps Chris Rock at the Oscars. Biden slaps Putin on the world stage. It's toxic masculinity. The world is in trouble. The national debt is going to go through the roof. Biden is causing inflation and blaming Putin. Dollar's about to implode. I want to talk about that with you. So you're saying buy more gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana before this World War III. Okay, so there's a lot of thoughts there. So let's start with the dollar that you say is on the verge of imploding. How far out are we from that, and what will be the catalyst, the major catalyst? There's a lot, but what is it for you?
Well, there's a guy, Jordan Peterson, he's a Canadian, and he says, you think tough men are dangerous, and Trump was a tough man. But he says, watch what weak men will do. And this guy Biden is the worst I have ever seen. Man is senile. And today what's happening is Russia and China are now ganging up on the US. It's really a dangerous world right now. It's getting worse. So every time you interview me when Trump was in power, I was a bit optimistic. But now we have the weakest, most corrupt government. You know, what happened to Hunter Biden's laptop? If the FBI loses his laptop, there's something really sick inside this country. And so that's kind of what I gauge all my macroeconomics on is, where is Hunter Biden's laptop? I mean, how can the FBI lose it? We have no financial education in our schools. So that's what I'm concerned about. My biggest concern, Danielle, with Russia and China are ganging up on us. As we all know, America produces nothing anymore. We produce bubbles, we just blow air bubbles. So we now have this bubble in real estate and stocks and bonds. And then when Biden took the Keystone pipeline, XL pipeline just wiped us out here. Inflation goes up, and the average American doesn't have $1,000. 40% of Americans don't have $1,000. And so when inflation goes up, we're going to wipe out 50% of the US population. And that is when revolution starts. And so if and when, and it will come down, the stock market crashes, the 401k, the old guys like me are toast. We don't have a retirement. Our pensions are bust. So what we have with three things is our treasury is out of control. We've lost it. Our entitlements out of control. And now we're at war in the Defense Department. So our debt to GDP is out. So every time I talk to Danielle, I said, I wish I could have some good news. So that's why I did the tuna can to a silver eagle comparison. We're in trouble.
Yeah, and that really does help put things in perspective. And
Yeah.
you're an advocate of protecting yourself. We've spoken about this in the past about gold, silver, you like Bitcoin, you like Ethereum. A new one that you've added is Solana. Now I know that there's some people advocating that Solana is the next Bitcoin, but why did you add this now? Why do you like it?
As we all know, there's insiders to every deal. I don't have any stocks. I don't invest in the stock market, but they're my companies on the stock market. So the best deals are always done early. So when people say, do you invest in Bitcoin? Yes, when it was $6,000. So Solana is still early, and it's got a possibility. It's a long shot. It's the same as a can of tuna. A can of tuna may be worth more than Solana. We've got to know what's real today. And that's what I'm saying. We have the weak leadership in world history. America's in serious trouble. So I want to find out what's real. And China and Russia are now ganging up on us. We went to Venezuela and Iran to buy oil from them. And this guy Biden cuts off our oil supply.
Would you add other cryptos to your portfolio? Would you be looking at?
Not really. I'd rather have a can of tuna right now.
So you want to limit it. So you're good with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and now Solana.
Yeah, but no, actually, I went to a can of tuna because you can. No, Daniela, because everybody talks about intrinsic value. What is intrinsic value? I can eat tuna. That's valuable. And if you're starving, I'd rather have a can of tuna than Solana.
Well,
And so, all these years you've known me, I'm always kind of a Rodney Dangerfield of the financial circuit. I like to
yeah.
make fun of things because otherwise people can't hear you. They get too serious about this. So I'm just saying that we're in serious trouble, serious, and it's getting worse. That's what terrifies me.
Just a little longer on cryptos here, because you've also been vocal about the fact that the government will come for crypto. You talked about the regulation. So how do you put that into perspective? Like you're comfortable owning crypto, but you feel that regulation is coming.
Yes. Well, that's if they go to the government crypto, the government Bitcoin, or whatever they call it.
Right,
They'll
Fed
trace.
coin. Right.
It's Big Brother at that point. They're going to be knowing everything you're doing. So, Daniela, for years, I've been buying those green canisters of silver coins because the government can't trace them. I can use them for money. So I can go anywhere in the world with a silver coin and spend it. I can go with a gold coin and spend it without being traced. Not that I'm hiding anything. I'm just sick and tired of this government. I don't trust them. As I said, if Hunter Biden's laptop disappears in FBI custody, we have a serious internal problem here. And so that's why I tongue-in-cheek, tweeted that I'd rather have a can of tuna right now than a silver coin, just to get ridiculous, because I can eat tuna. I cannot eat that silver coin. I can spend it.
You were also warned about the repo market inversion. Our friend George Gammon does a lot of work on that. And you said that last time this happened was in '08. So be careful. Recession and crash are coming. Weak businesses and greedy investors to fail. In 2008, you borrowed $300 million to buy great real estate at bargain prices. Time to get rich coming again. Time to get smart, not greedy. So there's always opportunity, right? Let's talk about opportunities. Let's add some optimism here amongst all the negativity of, how can we make money here?
Well, always remember, America has stopped producing products. We produce bubbles. Now, the good thing about a bubble is when they burst, everything goes on sale. And so in 2008, I waited till about 2010. I borrowed $300 million because debt is money, as you know, after 71. And I began buying real estate at bargain prices. So just recently, the repo market inverted again, which means we're going down. It means recession's ahead. But my concern is now revolution, because when people can't afford to eat tuna, we're going to have rioting. So it's a whole different type of bubble burst. When Biden took us off the pipeline, oil prices went up. Oil produces fertilizer. And when fertilizer is no longer cheap, people can't produce food. And the average American has nothing. 40% of Americans have nothing. Inflation is going to make them very upset. A stock market crash will bring down the baby boomers. So we're in serious trouble here. So I'm just being ridiculous in my tweets because it's better than listening to Biden, that I'd rather have a can of tuna right now. That's what I'm saying, is that at least I can eat it.
Robert, when you, I'm going to send you a case of tuna, but before it hits $25. But when you talk about a revolution, do you see that happening like U.S. or global, or what does that look like for you?
Well, I'm a U.S. Marine. I fought in Vietnam twice as a pilot. I've seen what happens when the communists, what people can see in the Ukraine, communists always kill civilians. And that's what people don't realize. And as a Marine, they sent kids and women after us. So a lot of my friends who came back with PTSD, and you can see it in the Ukraine today, they're not hitting, Russia's not hitting military targets, they're hitting civilian targets. And when you understand communism, and this is my latest book here, it's called The Capitalist Manifesto, I am a student of communism. So this here is, when 65, I had to read this book here, 48 pages, one of the most influential books in world history. But nobody's read the book. They don't know what Marx said. But what Marx said, they had to have the poor get poor and the middle class come down. And that was the recipe for revolution. And I see Biden doing it when he took the Keystone XL pipeline and took us off of it, and oil prices went up. Now the thing is, Danielle, I got richer because I produce oil. I don't invest in oil. I don't invest in Shell or Exxon and all that. I invest in oil wells. So when oil went from $30 a barrel to $130 a barrel, I got richer, but I also got more concerned for my fellow human beings. They can't afford to live at $130 a barrel oil. And so that's why in my tweets, I just get ridiculous about it. Hopefully somebody will listen. Yeah, I can eat